Now, it's your turn.
Fear not, citizens, hope has arrived because we are here talking My Hero Academia. This is the Amateur Otaku podcast where we talk everything in the world of anime. I'm your host, Great Explosion Murder God Dynamite. Joining me, of course, is DK, Doc Isaac himself. How you doing, buddy?
It's going good. It's going good. I'm just tired as per usual, but that's nothing new.
Well, you know, it's kind of hard to get any rest when we've been in war for 2 straight seasons of My Hero Academia. So I get it. Guys, we're talking the final season of MHA, episodes 1 through 3. If you aren't caught up, go do so. It's streaming on Hulu. It's streaming on Crunchyroll. The dub premiered this weekend as well, if you want to watch it that way, so you can start catching up. Every way you want to watch My Hero Academia, it is now available to you. So go check it out. Yeah, I guess we just need to do a little brief recap. We're still in war. It's not reaching Naruto levels of length on this war arc, Isaac, but I'm getting a little tired, I will say.
And they draw...
Like, when was the last time My Hero Academia was about the academia?
Season 3 or season 4?
Probably season 5.
Oh.
Gentle Criminal is probably like the last... Oh, no. When they trained against Class B. The last major thing.
Oh, right.
That they did. But it's cool. We meet back up in the premiere. These first 2 episodes are very All Might centric as he fights All for One and he's going against the prophecy of Sir Night-Eye. If you guys don't remember, in season 4, All Might's former sidekick Night-Eye saw into the future and he saw All Might dying a gruesome death to an unknown villain. That villain turns out to be teenage All for One. Who saw that coming? And so we pick back up with that fight. And in episode 1, it's kind of like a half recap of where we left off from the fight from last season. But since it's been over a year, it was a much needed recap. And I don't even think anybody noticed that was a recap episode.
And I have to say that some of the part of the fights reminds me of watching Dragon Ball or One Piece, because that some of the scenes they love to have it a bit, if you know what I mean. I mean, it was a great fight overall, but yeesh, especially the reaction to for people and how it was going, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so this is our 5th Rising or Origin episode in My Hero Academia. This was called Toshinori Yagi Rising. And if you know how My Hero Academia does with naming conventions, only like 4 other characters got that episode title. Izuku Midoriya, Origin, Shoto Todoroki Rising, Tomura Shigaraki Rising. So All Might getting one is a big deal. And we see the desperate lengths he's willing to go to defeat All for One. We see Armored All Might. Manga readers call him Iron Might, which I think is a cooler name, but it's probably copyright problems there. We see him,
probably.
We see him literally using the powers of all of his students. Every single member of Class A has some sort of ability built into his armor, and I just think that's amazing how much of an effect those students had on a hero like All Might. We've talked about this because we did do manga episodes when this was dropping, Isaac, but I just want your thoughts again. All Might, All for One. What do you think this is a good ending to All Might's character arc?
Honestly, yes, because the all for one has plagued him his entire journey, and it's kind of fitting that the the last battle, so to speak, is between each other, as they are like I wouldn't say they are like, yeah, I would kind of say like they are Joker and Batman in a sense, if you really think about it.
It's interesting you make that comparison because All Might uses that to his advantage, right? All Might really has no shot at winning this fight. He is just trying to distract All for One long enough to keep him away from Izuku. And so when All Might's standing there, he's like, you can't for a moment pass me up. You're gonna come down here to fight me. That's very much the Batman Joker dynamic, right? Where Joker will always be connected to Batman, and he will do anything he can to get under Batman's skin just because he wants the attention, because he's nostalgic for that battle. And so these two going at it, I think, yeah, that's actually a really good reference point from DC Comics. I find it interesting how all of this ties back into season 4, the overhaul arc, right? Because Night Eye also saw the death of Deku when he's fighting Overhaul.
Mm.
The thing that we learned is the only way they change the future is by sheer belief and like the will of everybody in the situation. Basically, blind faith is how they change the future. And I find that it's really powerful that All Might's entire character arc was him planting those seeds of hope in Deku, in Shoto, in Bakugo. And now he's reaping the benefits of all of the goodwill and hope and faith that he entrusted into the future, is what inevitably led to him not dying in this fight. But that's jumping a little bit far ahead. It also ties into Stain, though, who shows up in episode 2. Episode 2 is called The End of an Era and ...
You know what's funny that you're saying the fight ends up being what makes people more I wouldn't call inspirational. Inspired might be the right term, but it's the closest thing we have gotten to a okay, but for doing more DC comic stuff, this is the closest thing we have gotten to a proper Death of Superman adaptation without Superman dying. If you, if you think
without
it.
Superman dying. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's fair. This is it.
I mean, with the whole of the, I mean, just imagine for a second that he did die there. It was that would just be prime. Where the are you get what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's the subversion of the death of Superman trope, right? And this is again why I feel like My Hero Academia is one of the most, like, as popular as it still is one of the most like underrated of the major shonen, because it does subvert those expectations a bit. Like, we see Jiraiya die, right? We see all of these masters and teachers in these shonen stories have to die, and that spurs the hero to get stronger, to get revenge, blah blah blah, right? Going back to Naruto, literally everybody in the pain arc, like Naruto seeing that Kakashi doesn't have a heartbeat, is what kind of spirals him even further a little bit. But this idea that All Might is still a character and not a plot device, I think is very interesting, because like 3 seasons ago, All Might says, I've decided that I want to live. He doesn't want to die a heroic death or a sacrifice. He wants to be able to grow old and live a normal life. And so allowing him to do that, I think, is interesting. Like, what happens when a hero doesn't die, essentially, is what's fascinating about the last arc of My Hero Academia. And again, just All Might reaping the benefits of it, like everything he did, everyone he saved, inspiring from villains like Stain to shitheads like Bakugo, you know,
Uh-huh.
to the world's greatest hero in Izuku Midoriya. I just think it's interesting how the stories like All Might's work as a hero was more than just the villains that he beat. He inspired another generation of superheroes, and that's what saves him in the end. It's again another DC reference, kind of punk rock. That All Might's true feat was just his inspiration, like you were saying, not him beating All for One, but him inspiring those 20 students in Class A and even characters like Stain to keep fighting. I think is really fascinating. And then we have All for One, who is just the most annoying villain I have ever seen in my life.
He's a walking plot device.
He is. And do you like? You're a writer. We're both the writers, but like when you're constructing a character like All for One, what's your thought process looking at him, right? Because at any point he could just fly to Shigaraki, but he is obsessed with crushing All Might, and that hubris is going to be his downfall, it looks like. Do you think that's just convenient that he won't give up on All Might, or do you think he really should have just gone to Shigaraki and it's kind of out of character for somebody as tactical as All for One?
I mean, he is not in his old calculated state of mind. We have to remember that. If he had been in the state he was at the start of this war, yes, it would have made no sense whatsoever that he just fly over and just want to kick his ass down. Now he's more of an immature teenager that goes on emotion more than logic in a lot of sense, and who he hates the most, All Might. So let the emotion takes a hold of him, and he just sort of like, and we also he is kind. I don't think wants to admit it, but he is kind of corrupted by Shigaraki, who's have a lot of hate inside of him, and that controls him and all those. Yes, which
All Might
also,
did say that in the premiere. You're right. Yeah, Shigaraki is affecting his psyche. Do you think it's also part of he's also rewinding too? So like he's being a very immature child because he's becoming a teenager and going backward. Interesting. Yeah,
that's why I think it fits, because but unlike if he had been in the how he was at the beginning of this war, then it made no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, because like this is the guy who took down Hawks and Endeavor and Dark Shadow and all these other characters in one swoop, essentially, right? Armored All Might makes no sense to me sometimes because it's like he beat Endeavor and Hawks, and All Might is still putting up a fight, but it's like the Joker. He's playing with his food a little bit.
Yeah, and that also making lose focus and not being able to go all out in that sense, even though he has an arsenal, that just makes it even stupider.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which is why I'm calling him a walking, talking plot device more than an actual character.
Oh, next episode, he's actually going to feel like a character for once. I find it interesting how we shy away from that. And maybe like this is probably one of the problems that My Hero has, is that I feel like Shigaraki being the main villain is more interesting. But since for whatever reason Horikoshi didn't want to let go of All for One, it leaves All for One with nothing to do. Because there's a moment in episode 3 where he's looking at Kachan Bakugo and he sees the second user of One for All. And he's like, I hate you, Kubo. You ruined everything. And he sees that same like spirit in Bakugo. And it's like, that's interesting. And that's something that I think we could have or should have like explored earlier to make him a more compelling villain. Because right now he's like in the Palpatine role. I just don't know if it works a ton of the time. It works with All Might, but like I feel like it still hurts Shigaraki's character a bit.
I will say this: even Palpatine was more developing more of a character than what All for One was. Not gonna lie, I'm not the biggest Palpatine fan.
Yeah. I feel like Star Wars is weird because now we're also introducing the prequels, and like we see Palpatine in the prequels, but I feel like My Hero Academia is in its original trilogy era, you know. So like, imagine if Palpatine was in A New Hope, that would have felt kind of strange and just like nullify Darth Vader for his first two movies. But yeah, so All Might is running out of quirks. He's using all his power. Stain comes in, he nullifies All for One, but All for One, of course, planned for this and expels all the blood, rewriting his DNA so Stain can't paralyze him any longer. He kills Stain, the hero killer. And Stain says like these very loving words to All Might as he dies: "Go live, my everything, my all," and then he dies. Was Stain in love with All Might, Isaac?
I wouldn't say he was in love, but he clearly adored him at least.
Those are words you say to a lover. That is all I'm saying. And if he loves All Might, I get it. All Might's a very lovable person. There's no shame there. But it's also like, oh, you really love this guy. Okay. You called him my all. His last words were, "You are my all."
Yeah.
Period.
Fair
Not
enough.
All Might. You are my all.
But to be fair, he might be trying to say All Might before he died, so who knows? But yeah, now that you put it like that.
It's possible. I just thought that was, again, subverting expectations, because when Stain arrives and he paralyzes All for One, you're like, oh, this is the chance for them to get the jump on him. And it immediately falls apart and just doesn't work and he gets killed. And you're kind of like, oh, well, that happened, I guess.
Yeah.
I find these last 3 episodes particularly interesting because they're very like quickly wrapping up storylines from seasons ago. Like, All for One is using Ares' quirk, and that's why he's rewinding. Night Eye's vision is coming to pass. The hero killer Stain, he gets a final send-off, right? One thing I find that people don't talk about is we get the flashback of Stain tracking All Might. And he sees Shoto and he sees Ingenium, and he doesn't kill them or doesn't approach them because now they are finally true heroes in Stain's eyes, which was a whole plot point in season 2. That's like, he acknowledges Ingenium as a hero, which was, again, very subtle, but that wraps up that storyline as well.
Yeah, which is kind of a good way to put it.
For sure. But we're still making our way to Izuku. If the two meet, they become complete versions of All for One. Nobody can stop them. End of the world. All Might has used all of his quirks from Class A, except one. He has a gauntlet on his wrist. And he doesn't say the name, but he says, "I'm going to go out. Absolute victory, explosion." Why was Bakugo the suicide ability, Isaac?
I mean, do I really need to tell you why? That character is a walking, talking suicide. Yeah. I mean, if there anyone that would go all in and just don't care on what happened to him, it would be Bakugo. Let's be real here.
I find it funny. I just find that funny. It's like he used all the quirks. When it's time to use Bakugo, he's like, "I'm going out with you." Thankfully, All for One again nullifies that power as well. And as the winds start to change and everybody is praying for All Might's survival, it's a giant explosion that happens at UA High School in the coffin in the sky. And Bakugo stands up. And I know we have had various debates about Kacchan.
But what? I don't even know what you're talking about.
But you gotta admit, this was a cool scene, right? Right?
It was well animated.
Oh, gosh. Okay. So, one thing that we can finally talk about this, because we've been sitting on this since the manga, right?
Yeah.
Bakugo's resurrection and how kind of dumb it is because Eggshot is like a piece of string.
I
But
I remember when he resurrected, I was so pissed.
Yeah, so now we're like 2 years removed from that. And at the time, Brandon and I were talking to you, and we were like, hey, it might feel better because it's going to take years between Bakugo's death and his resurrection in the anime's time frame. And I feel like for a lot of people, that kind of rings true because when Bakugo died in the manga, it was called Mickey Mouse Academia. There's no stakes. This is stupid. But right now, everybody's saying this is the most hype moment of 2025. And this is an episode of the year in the anime community. So again, back to you. Does it feel better in the show than it did in the book?
Nah. I give it well. They how should I put it? They show it off better here in the manga. That I will give them, but nah. It's still stupid. And that I would have said that even if it was any other character. Honestly.
Interesting.
Honestly, it is to the point with how they handle that quote-unquote resurrection that it wouldn't be surprise me if he was meant to die, but in Shonen Jump you said, no, you're resurrecting him. He is the most popular character. We need more mercs. I'm not even joking. That's honestly what.
Well, him dying doesn't like. So okay, we're gonna talk about Bakugo as a character for a second here. I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm sorry. You're gonna have to endure this for a second because I don't think he was meant to die. Because I get what you're saying. It felt like basically an ass pull. Horikoshi to keep this character alive. I don't think so. I think it was always meant to go this way because every major character in My Hero Academia has a villain, right?
Yeah.
Uraraka has Toga, and their stories intersect. Shoto literally has Toya or Dabi. All Might has All for One. Deku has Shigaraki. Ida has Stain. Kirishima and Fat Gum even fought a guy. I forget what his name is.
The flower guy.
No, this was back in when they were fighting Overhaul. Kirishima had like a whole 2-episode fight there.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. Lemillion had Overhaul, right? Every major character in My Hero Academia has a villain, except for Bakugo. And I think that's because Bakugo is his own villain. And his entire character arc is built on him understanding his flaws and insecurities and overcoming them. What does Bakugo always call the supporting cast of My Hero Academia? They're called extras, right?
Yeah.
Bakugo's entire journey is him realizing that he is in fact the extra. He is the one who doesn't have a main villain. He is only a supporting character. He is not the main focus of the universe. And so when he goes up against the main villain, Shigaraki, he gets killed or near death, right?
Yeah.
And part of his story is, again, when he's fighting Shigaraki, the things that he's thinking is like, Izuku, this is what you've been doing this entire time. Thinking, mapping out moves, breaking your body down to a point where you can barely function and fighting anyway. I finally understand it. And then he dies. That's not a satisfying story arc, I don't think. It's him coming back from it. And again, if you think the way he comes back to life is dumb, I can't argue that. Like Edshot becoming his heart feels kind of weird. But Bakugo coming back and him being the side character to go fight the main villain. Because All for One, if you notice, All for One talks like Bakugo. They're just pawns. Uh-huh. They're useless. They don't matter. And Bakugo being a side character to take down the final boss, I feel like is the perfect ending for his character.
Yeah, let me put it like this. Do I hate Bakugo as a character? Yes. But that's an understatement at this point for those that have followed us, our My Hero Academia coverage. But part of me was probably a ton of disappointment. disappointing that I saw him back because, well, as we said before, I'm not a big fan. But I think the biggest problem for me is the way he comes back, and not that he came back. I honestly think that if he it's one how should I put it? He should have been gravely wounded and not died, so to speak, if he were to come back. I feel that's probably the biggest part that it's just really.
Well, again, we're speaking in comic book terms, and so
Yeah,
like his heart.
I know.
No, but I'm just saying, like his heart stopping and his own explosion, shocking himself back to life. It's like it's rooted in enough real world medicine that I can buy it a little bit. It's Edshot really surviving to me. That's kind of nonsense. It's like, what do you mean this man sacrificed his entire being and now he's alive and he's a little piece of string in front of All Might? That's the part that weirds me out. Bakugo surviving, I can get. Edshot surviving, I don't understand.
Well, that too.
So anyway, Bakugo stands up. He looks over. Him and Deku lock eyes. They immediately are in sync. The second user is telling Deku if he uses gear shift without thinking, the recoil will basically immobilize him. Deku doesn't think for the first time in the series ever. He doesn't even have to think about launching Bakugo at All for One to save All Might's life. And then we just get the craziest animated scene in all of My Hero Academia, the Go Beyond scene where Deku and Bakugo and Shigaraki and All for One decide to give it their all. And Bakugo just goes off. Like, that's really all it is. The kid wakes up. He's having the time of his life fighting the main villain. The streets, the buildings are already destroyed. He doesn't have to hold back. For the first time ever, Bakugo is in a one-on-one fight with a villain. I think that's crazy that has never happened until this moment. You were very quiet, Isaac. I need you to give me something. I know you hate Bakugo, but you got to give me something.
I just didn't know what to say because I get you. It just I wished that I could have bought. I get your point. It just I don't know if it's a mixture of everything that makes me. I am so biased against that character that I don't know what to say exactly, to be perfectly honest.
It's the most well-animated fight in MHA history. You could start there.
That I can agree with.
Right, so find the good, talk about the good. Say that it was pretty, something, anything.
so it what's it called? So you're saying that the scene has substance but no style, then? Is that what I should say?
I think it has both, because again, I think Bakugo's character arc is very good.
You get what I mean.
If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all at this point. I guess it's fine. I'll keep talking. All for Bakugo is an incredible fight. You can tell that Bakugo is one of their favorite characters, because I don't even think
for sure.
Shigaraki versus Deku, I don't think we have the budget anymore. I think it all went to Bakugo. It's crazy. Speaking of, they updated the intro. Pornography did the intro for My Hero Academia's final season. They did the first season. I called this. Go back and watch our episode. We ranked My Hero Academia intros. I said Pornography was going to come back, and they're going to say that the day has come. Clock it. Isaac, go clip it. Put it in here somewhere.
I shall go and try and fix that.
I called that 2 years ago. Dang it. Anyway, they changed the intro. Bakugo's finally in it, and he's fighting All for One. Bakugo being the extra that takes down All for One, I think is the perfect realization of his character. But also it does now make Bakugo a main character, because he is the one who takes down All for One. Deku fights Shigaraki. Deku still doesn't know how he's going to beat Shigaraki. I personally feel like we're dragging that out too long. I feel like the manga did that too. Because when you really think about the last 7 episodes of this show, And I get some of it is a little bit of recap from the premiere. Deku has just been holding Shigaraki like this, spinning in a circle for 7 episodes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's something. Yeah, that's the reason why I'm comparing that whole ordeal, that and people's reaction to Dragon Ball and One Piece with how, especially Dragon Ball, with how they like to drag on fights.
Yeah, and I think it's particularly frustrating because I'd rather they just be fighting in a stalemate, not Deku just holding him this long. Because it's also like, shouldn't Shigaraki have broken out by now? How strong is Deku that Black Whip is holding Shigaraki without Eraserhead, right? Because he's missing. They don't know where he is. And he's still holding him back. That just feels kind of crazy. But we're going to get that resolution in probably 2 episodes. Next episode's going to be an all-for-one flashback. And probably the finale of this fight. There's only 9 episodes left. How are you feeling so far? Do you think that the final season of the show is going to be better than the manga's ending?
Are we talking about just core 1 is going to have 9, or is it going to be 9 overall?
It's 9 total, buddy. There's only 12 episodes.
I mean, in today's age of anime, some season is parted in 2 cores. One is 3 cores. One is just 1 core.
Sure, but I want you to just think about it for a sec because you read the book. Think about how much is left. There is nothing left.
I mean,
not for a whole other core.
Yeah, fair enough. But that way makes me wonder, because 9 more episodes. I mean, it could be something that it could handle if they do it properly. My question is just, are they going to handle the epilogue that he did way later? And or is that going to be like, as the leak suggested, sort of like they tapping that into the alleged leaked next movie, so to speak? That's honestly my biggest question here, if they are going to cover that.
Well, the epilogue is very short. We're not going to spoil the manga. Don't worry, you guys. But like, think of it this way, right? We spent 3 episodes on All for One's final battle so far. That's going to be about 4, 5, maybe. I believe it's going to wrap. I believe it's going to wrap up next episode. And then that leaves how many? What, 8 episodes left after that of Deku versus Shigaraki. The final confrontation with Shigaraki and Tenko, and then the epilogue. And the epilogue can be 2 episodes. I think they also said the final episode is going to be 40 minutes long. It's going to be like a mini movie. So like, I think they have more than enough time, honestly, to wrap this up in a satisfactory manner. And they added a few things in this episode too, just to flesh it out. Like when All Might is giving Bakugo that gauntlet to serve as a splint, that scene is stretched out a little bit more. And just gives that conversation a little bit more meaning. Like Bakugo kneeling down saying, "Thank you, teacher," which is something he would never say, you know? Mm-hmm. And so it's like, yeah, they're finally acknowledging, like, oh yeah, he's changed a bit. He wants to be better, and that's cool. As far as like a potential 5th movie, they can do something cool after the epilogue. There's still stories that can be told, but the way Horikoshi wrote it, it's going to be hard. And we can talk manga spoilers sometime in the future, maybe at the finale, because everything would have been over. But like the way he ends the book, there's room to do other things, but you got to get really creative with it. Yeah, I think this is a great start to the season. I think you can tell that Bones really cares. You can tell that they also switched just from Bones Studios, and Bones Film is actually working on this season. And you can also tell because there was a surprising amount of movie characters in these first 3 episodes. Like the 2 kids from Heroes Rising get a very long shot when Bakugo comes back in this most recent episode, and it's like, okay, Bones, we know it's canon now. You're good job.
I'm surprised that Rhodey didn't show up. Honestly,
Rhodey showed up last season when Deku was fighting
he?
Shigaraki, and it was on the news. Rhodey.
Oh, I completely forgot that. My bad.
But yeah, I feel like when we get to Deku's fight, you might see more of Rhodey because like we saw. This is weird because in the first movie you have Melissa Shield, and she's very much prevalent watching All Might fighting, and these 2 kids are watching Bakugo fight, and so you might get Rhodey showing up watching Deku on the news too. Buddy from the 4th movie. Nobody remembers the 4th movie. You got Dark Might watching from his cell, I guess.
That movie was something.
It was fun, but yeah, it was a fun little side quest. But yeah, like I think this was just a really strong premiere. It was beautifully animated. The voice acting was great. I can't wait to hear Chris Sabat manically laugh as Armored All Might in the dub next week. I also can't wait for Deku and Shigaraki to finally start fighting, or lack thereof, because the way that Shigaraki's story wraps up, I think, will benefit the most from the anime adaptation, personally.
Probably.
And more of All for One. Any closing thoughts, Isaac?
It has a lot. My issue of the resurrection aside, I do feel like it is a strong start for the season. Not gonna lie.
It was explosive, if you will.
I'm so proud.
I know. Now it's my turn to make bad puns. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this discussion, make sure you give us a like, subscribe. We'll keep talking My Hero Academia. I don't know if we're going to do a weekly thing, but like when major stuff happens, we can probably pop in once in a while and just catch up a little bit. Because again, if it's more Deku spinning in a circle for 3 more episodes, I'm not going to be here. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm getting tired of it. But yeah, this has been a blast. Isaac, where can folks find the podcast? You, whatever's cooking. Go.
Well, you can find me here at Amateur Otaku and my personal Twitch and YouTube channel at the Swedish Emblem, where I'm covering Wind Waker on Twitch. The Twitch was a YouTuber gets the Twitch streams edited down, and also there is Persona stuff coverage of that one on the weekends nowadays. And well, we are as I said, you find me at pretty much every social media on with Emblemaniac.
Sick. You guys can find me at Novice Cinephile on YouTube, TikTok. Threads is the Novice Cinephile, as is Instagram. Yeah,
videos are also.
I'm not really. I don't really use it, but that exists. Blue Sky is also just Novice Cinephile. Videos are going to be up there. I'm probably going to talk about Bakugo and hands and the weird symbolism that hands showcase in My Hero Academia over there on YouTube and TikTok. Check that out. Stay here on the Amateur Otaku. Subscribe. We just had a live stream go up today, Isaac. You and Jamie were talking some anime. That's a fun one.
We talked about Ranma and a half. For some reason, I thought the show was called 1.5 when I edit that, prep that stream, and I just saw that last minute. I'm just, oh, it's one run and a half, not 1.5. Jesus, I need to fix this before we go live.
Luckily, he fixed it, you guys. You can find that on the channel here, and we will see you next time. And as always, remember, clench your butt cheeks, kids. Yell it from the depths of your heart. Go beyond.
Yeah.
Plus ultra. Peace.
Peace.